Yeah. Benardrick.
He's white.
You're wrong.
He's white.
He is a
Negus. Negus, niggas.
That's exactly what he is. He has to be. And his last name is McKinney. He's from Michigan State. He's a linebacker. Wide receiver Devontae Parker from Louisville. Offensive lineman Andrus Peat from Stanford. Wide receiver Brashard Perryman from Central Florida. Outside linebacker Shane Ray from Missouri. Offensive lineman Brandon Scherf from Iowa. Defensive tackle Danny Shelton from Washington. Wide receiver Devin Smith from Ohio State. Wide receiver Jalen Strong from Arizona State. I was talking about this kid yesterday that I hadn't really heard from. Then the first thing I saw from him, read on him, he's recovering from some injury, so that's why I haven't heard of this particular wide receiver. Offensive lineman Laken Tomlinson from Duke. Cornerback Trey Waynes from Michigan State. Wide receiver Kevin White from West Virginia. And last but not least, defensive end Leonard Williams from Southern California, i.e. the West Coast USC. Who's missing from that list?
Todd
Gurley. Exactly. Like I'm going down the street today, and I'm like, wait, what? What's happening? And I haven't heard him make any statement that I'm gonna be at this place during the draft. I'm not gonna be there. Whatever. It seemed kind of weird to me because I was talking about him yesterday. Me looking at
the Fowler kid is not gonna be there either, right?
Yeah, Dante Fowler Jr. He's gonna be there.
Oh, you said his name. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't hear you say it.
He's gonna be there. Like the one glaring name that just rushed into my head was like, wait, what? Why wouldn't you? Like, I mean, I'm sure he has a reason. I'm sure he was invited. I mean, Melvin Gordon's going to be there, so of course he was invited.
But it's a chance. It's a chance that he might not go in the first round. And who the hell want to be sitting back there in that green room?
A lot of these guys may not go in the first round. Melvin Gordon may not go in the first round.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of these dudes. Landon Collins. I mean, he's the only safety in the league. This corner. Not the kid from Michigan State. He's definitely going in the first round.
What are they going to do? The ones that know they ain't going in the first round, they just go sit there in the green room.
Yeah, they come back tomorrow. Round? That's what. Remember, that's what Geno did. Came back the next day.
Because, you should go he went both days, or he went the next day?
Nah, he went the first day, and remember it was this thing about people. He said he wasn't coming back. He was going home, and he caught a little flack for being a crybaby or whatever. I was like, so what if that dude want to go home? Let him go home. But he didn't, and you could tell he wasn't prepared to because he came back the next day. He had on like a V-neck sweater with his tie. He had on a suit the next day. He only brought one suit, but he came back the next day and second round pick, hugged the commissioner and did this whole thing or whatever. Not last year. Last year was Geno's second year, was it not?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Sorry. So yeah, the kids that don't get drafted in the first round, they just come back the next day because there's nobody on this list that's really, well, I'm not gonna say nobody, but the guys who are on that kind of teeter-tot of first round, second round, they know who they are. You know what I mean? Like a guy like Devontae Parker from Louisville, the wide receiver, he could go in the first round, but it's a good chance he'll go in the second round. So it's not gonna be like an embarrassment if he's left over because that's what his grade is. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he'll come back the next.
I don't know. Todd Gurley might just be planning on being up in North Carolina chilling.
Dude, how many times have you heard that dude speak this year? Or in the time he's been at Georgia, how many times have you heard him speak?
Several times. He done some interviews, like walk-off interviews or whatnot. Like
right, but I mean, just like in a normal situation.
Just here recently with the Draft Academy.
Good. I'm glad you said that because I want to just make sure I'm not the only one that was like, I'm watching this kid talk and I'm like, he's a child. Yeah. For as much as I'm like, this dude is a grown man on a football field, and he is. I'm not saying he's not, but it kind of shook me a little bit when he started talking, and I was like, man, this dude is somebody's 20-year-old baby. You know what I mean? Yeah. This huge human being that punishes other people's children is a child himself, dude. Yeah, he's a child himself, and it just pours out of his mouth. I'm not saying he talks stupidly or anything like that, but you know what I'm saying. Like when you talk to somebody who's just young, he's just young, man. You know what I mean? It kind of made me just kind of take a step back, like, whoa, okay, yeah, this is who this kid is. And
that dude been putting in some work, man.
Dude, there's Trent Richardson. How can I say this? Because I want to say like Jameson, but they're Trent Richardsoning him. That's what they're doing to this dude, and it's scaring the hell out of me. Like, the more I hear people start talking about can't miss, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the top 10. I'm like,
you see on the draft academy, they were saying
running back.
What's the guy's name that was working with them? The black guy that was.
I don't know.
With him
I was trying to catch it after they gave his credentials about him being in the league.
Yeah.
I was trying to catch it, but I missed it when he said it initially.
Based on everything the Gurley was doing up there, they were saying that he was testing out like DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray was a third-round back. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
He was a third-round back. Like, if you say that to me, okay, I'm with you. I can ride with you on that. But when them dudes on Pro Football Talk start talking about can't miss prospect and all that kind of stuff, first of all, slow down. This dude got an ACL. Like, I don't care what you talk to me about. You know, technology and the medical field, the advancements or whatever, it's still an ACL, dude. And for most people, it's still going to be a 2-year injury. It's the first year that you come back from it physically, and then the second year where mentally you trust the knee again. So if you think Todd Gurley's going to show up in the league this year and give you 1,800 yards if you're talking about the top 10 on a bad team, good luck. Good luck, cuz. Because you know what Eddie Lacy's on? He's on a team with Aaron freaking Rodgers. That's what Eddie Lacy's on. He don't see no 8-man boxes. Trust that. You dig? Yeah. So if this dude, if he can find his way to the two teams that are in need of running back in the first round, him and Melvin Gordon, Dallas and Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, assuming that Phillip Rivers doesn't go anywhere. Like, again, those two teams are built for them to have success. One, because they both have good quarterbacks, and in the Dallas case, they got an awesome offensive line. That's built for a nice rookie running back to come in and rock it. But nah, you start talking about Jacksonville taking old Todd Gurley. Yeah, E-N effing joy that career.
Yeah, but the more and more I'm hearing, it seems like San Diego might actually be open to the whole moving on from Phillip Rivers thing, because from what I get, they really like Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, it's a gamble, but it's not one that's foreign. It's not one that's foreign to the Chargers, because if you remember how Phillip Rivers got his job, they had a young man named Drew Brees there at first.
Drew Brees.
Even before he hurt the shoulder, the decision was made to move on from him because they had their first-round pick here, the guy who they actually traded for on draft day, Eli Manning, for Phillip Rivers on draft day, waiting in the wings. So the move was going to be made. They were going to let Drew Brees test free agency anyway. The shoulder thing just kind of added drama to his side of it. But the Chargers knew that it was time to move on to the young guy. So it's not something that's foreign to that organization to say, okay, we got a veteran. He's playing well. And Phillip Rivers has been a better Charger quarterback than Drew Brees was a Charger quarterback. And partly because there was a dude named LaDainian Tomlinson lining up behind Drew Brees. And there was one year that dude had 100 catches and 1,000 yards rushing.
Right.
Oh, by the way, and did not make the Pro Bowl. Imagine that. Yeah, over 1,000 yards rushing and 100 catches from the running back position. No Pro Bowl for you, son. Yeah, that's real-ish. But guys like Priest Holmes was rocking it back then. Everybody remember how cold Priest Holmes was. I think like Sean.
Oh, Priest. Hey, boy,
this is when the Seahawks was in the AFC still. Sean Alexander was rocking it. Who else made the Pro Bowl day? I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But those two names. Was Clinton Portis in Denver then? It may have been Clinton. It may have been Clinton was the third running back. So I mean, he didn't make it because he didn't make it because he never got snubbed. I mean, it was just some good ass backs. You feel me? Yeah. And it just happened. Yeah. It worked out that way. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that Todd Gurley thing up to you. That was weird to me when I thought about it later, because I didn't think about it yesterday. Adrian Peterson today, the big news, got reinstated. So a lot of speculation starting to happen now. You know, I mean, there was speculation before, but now the guy's been reinstated. He can choose to join off-season voluntary workouts. By all indications, people don't think he will. So there's that.
Would you? If you don't want to play for Minnesota, would you?
Nah. There's no reason to. I mean, for one, they're voluntary anyway, and he's a veteran. Like, the one thing you ain't got to worry about him is him taking care of his body. You know what I mean? There's a dude who is football first, Adrian Peterson. A little bit too much at times for my take. How no one ever calls him out on that bull. Like, every offseason, Adrian Peterson's talking about Emmitt Smith's record. He's talking about rushing for 2,500 yards. Adrian, when are we going to talk about Super Bowl, bruh? When are we going to talk about, getting your team to a championship level? Like, no one ever calls this dude out for that.
By being by himself?
Yeah.
By being by himself?
It just like misses people. But every offseason, he has that conversation. Yeah, I think I can run for 2,500 yards. Yeah, I think Emmitt Smith, I can stay healthy long enough to break Emmitt Smith's rushing record. You want some rings, dude, at some point? I mean, do you? I don't. Maybe you don't have to be. Because it's like LaDainian Tomlinson said. And they asked him, what's a greater accomplishment? A Super Bowl ring or a Hall of Fame jacket? And he said a Hall of Fame jacket because it's the one thing that I can control. Like, if I'm great, that's something that I worked at personally. You know what I mean? Like, I can be as great as I want to be. And if I'm on a bad team, if I'm Larry Fitzgerald, who, by the way, Larry Fitzgerald went to a Super Bowl. But if you're Larry Fitzgerald now, you know what I mean? Well, not even now, because they've gotten better now. So if you're Larry Fitzgerald between the Super Bowl and Carson Palmer, you know what I mean? Like the Kevin Kolb years, those years, or year, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, yeah. He's going to be more known, not for going to a Super Bowl and losing, but for having a Hall of Fame career at wide receiver. So I get it. Why LaDainian would say that's more important because, yeah, if you're a great player, you can control that. We saw it in this year's Super Bowl. Like, sometimes things just come down to the damnedest things. A win or a loss just comes down to the damnedest things. One call at the end of the game ends up being an interception, and guess what? Russell Wilson has one Super Bowl instead of two. Just like that, Tom Brady has 5 instead of 4. Now he's in that upper echelon of the Joe Montana conversation officially when it comes to winners at the quarterback position. Officially, like he was there already, but now he's officially there. It would be like Kobe getting his 6. No matter how you got it or how long it went between the times that you got it, and now we can have a conversation. So that's just, it's interesting to me that how that kind of just got by so many people for this long with Adrian Peterson, but now he's reinstated. A lot of people are thinking Dallas is probably the next stop, especially if he does the whole I'm willing to take a pay cut type situation. It make it more friendly for whatever team that maybe.
Dude, I think he's gonna be a Cowboy.
You think so?
I don't think Dallas. I don't think they're gonna draft a running back. I think they just go straight up, just try to make a deal for Adrian Peterson.
Dude, I've been saying and tweeting that since before the season ended. Actually, that Adrian Peterson was gonna be a Cowboy. Not as sure now as I was then because of the things that happened during the offseason with the Hardy signing and everything. That may be a little bit too much on the negative PR side. You know what I mean? When you got to deal with, you just signed Greg Hardy, then you signed Adrian Peterson, 2 dudes that were caught up in this whole situation.
Trust me, dog. Look, hey. The Cowboys and AP, ain't nobody in Dallas gonna be complaining about that.
Yeah, but there's the other side of it. If the team doesn't do as good as they did last year, then you got that side of it.
Yeah, right. Well,
yeah. Like, see, everybody want to start hollering out karma and all this BS, nebulous, dumb stuff. This is the Sports Kings podcast. Big Mike here with my day working friend Roberto Alejandro Manuel Jesus.
Got my Jerry curl, Poppy.
Javier.
I got my Dominican Jerry curl.
They call him Sidewalk Poppy Callaway. We're on Spreaker.com. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sports Kings Live, and on the email at sportskingslive@gmail.com. Now here's the big piece of meat. kind of the big piece of meat. It's kind of that big piece of meat
Big piece of chicken.
that you knew was coming though. You knew it was going to happen. Jameis